The Fronton King is a fitting finale to the APB's World Tour. Like Pipeline, Tiopu and Arica in Chile, El Fronton possesses all the qualities that make it bodyboarding wave. The Horseshoe Reef is a true peak that offers barrels both left and right, with air sections at both ends. It's the reason why every top rider was there, even without a world title in play. Winning this event in classic conditions is one of the biggest accolades in this sport. Amaury Laverne arrived as the defending champion. Along with last year's world champion Pierre-Louis Costes, they constituted the pre-event favourites. Challenging them were former world champions Jared Houston and Jeff Hubbard, the latter choosing this event to make his competitive return. While most eyes were on the newly crowned world champion, Ian Campbell.
Yeah, it's still quite a strange feeling. I expected a lot to change. I expected this big transformation overnight, and waking up on the second day, you're the same person. You just got a world title to your name, and a few weeks after we sit here and it's just all making sense now. It's a lot easier for me to just comprehend everything, and yeah, I'm just so stoked to have this title under my name forever.
There was no feeling out period at the start of round one. The swell ranged from 6 to 8 feet, and everyone pushed hard in the hope of securing a win and progressing straight to round 3. Jared Houston set a heavy pace first up as he won the opening heat. Having missed the event last year due to injury, he looked determined to make up for lost time. Unburdened by the title race, the freshly minted world champion looked even better. Amaury Laverne's 17.77 was the highest heat score total of the day. One of the hardest guys to beat anywhere in the world, he is the last name you want to draw at this event. About 5 years ago, Laverne met and married a local girl. At the same time, his native Reunion Island was being plagued by shark attacks. For that reason, they decided to settle in the Canary Islands, and what better place than directly above its most famous wave. From his house built into the cliffs, Laverne can see directly into El Fronton. It's granted him unbeatable access and formed an unsurpassed familiarity with the wave. Back in round 1, Jeff Hubbard reminded everyone of his aerial weapons. But he was relegated to round 2 by a man possessed in Pierre-Louis Costes. Jacob Romero found some impressive shade. Still eligible for the juniors, Tanner McDaniel has established himself on the World Tour, and his round 1 performance was creative, spontaneous and highly entertaining.
Tanner McDaniel coming around that section and going for a big backflip.
Diego Cabrera has had a breakthrough year on the World Tour and arrived back to his home event in confident form.
As you can see, that beautiful drawn angle I love, and here we go. And a huge roll again.
Nice.
The waves continued to pump as the event entered the second round and the first elimination heats. Mike Stewart became one of the early casualties. Jeff Hubbard was beaten by an in-form Uri Valadeo and Brahim Adouche.
Looking for 7.84, and look at that! He will pull off that maneuver.
After a lackluster performance in round 1, Ryan Hardy showed why he had been awarded the APB wildcard as he blitzed round 2. When competition and the second round resumed, Australia's Josh Kirkman had his moments in the magazine cover conditions.
Going for the section there, and nice an invert there for Josh. Nice invert, and goes for another roll off the end section.
But Jared Houston was given the waves to showcase his class and thoroughly dominated their heat.
Jared Houston on a nice clean barrel. Look at the beautiful wave just hitting the shallow reef. More of a pocket ride for Jared Houston. It goes into a carving reverse off the top. From behind the peak, it is Jared Houston. Look at all the speed, pulls into the barrel. Quick little check turn back into the power zone. In the inside, look how shallow it is right there. Oh my goodness. That was scary. Jared Houston, the South African, dropping everything. And here we go. Jared having another look at this one. This one's going to wrap. Oh my, look at Jared Houston. Ton of speed and a big invert. Just lands out in front of the whitewash.
Alex Urunga was at his best to beat round 1's standout performer, Tanner McDaniel.
Scooping
nice.
into it. Heavy barrel. Huge roll out.
Even on the World Tour, there are still levels to this game, and Uri Valadao showed he was at the top.
Oh my God. Oh my. Uri Valadao dropping into this gutter. Beautiful barrel. Will he come out with the whitewash? He does. Yeah. And he is stoked.
Dudu Pedra then beat one of the tour's form riders, Alan Munoz.
Dudu Pedra in yellow with priority on one of the biggest waves of the morning. Look how beautiful that is. Bottoms out. Can he come out? And he comes out.
Tristan Roberts struck first in his heat against Jacob Romero, but got swallowed by the whitewater. Romero's breeding on the Hawaiian island of Maui has given him a long education in solid right-hand waves.
And drops into this gutter of a wave and finds the pocket, comes out, gets over that little ledge right there, and
unfortunately he couldn't.
He then showed Roberts how to handle the landing on a big air reverse.
Now we see out the back.
Oh, live action, a big reverse. Can he pull it off? Oh my goodness!
Whoa,
and he is stuck. He's not done yet.
What?
Young Canary Island local Lionel Medina wasn't overawed when he faced the new world champion Ian Campbell and paddled over the top of him for the first wave and a big score. While Campbell's wave selection was questionable.
Here we got a paddle here. It looks like Ian Campbell up on another left. He's pulling in. This one's running through that section. A bit of a short barrel game.
His local opponent read the conditions perfectly as he scored a shock upset win.
Big long barrel right there. Can he come out? Now he's deep and he comes out. Lionel Medina. Oh, man.
Pierre-Louis Costes wasn't about to let the upsets continue as he emerged from behind the foam ball to open his third round heat.
Look at this thing, a ton of speed. Will come out of this.
Yeah, he's coming out.
Yes, he does.
My God, that was
finds a
sick.
section.
Boom.
Clean roll.
He then went back to back.
Oh, this is looking perfect.
Oh my, that thing just bottoms out and just goes top to bottom. Barrel, and he comes out.
Here we go, PLC looking at the left now.
Oh my, this thing is lining up with a big air reverse and he lands out under the flats.
Oh my God, he
and he
did
pulls
just landed it.
Are you kidding me?
While seedings have to go according to World Tour ranking, Ryan Hardy in these conditions is closer to the top 5 than his wildcard ranking suggested. He put on another critical display in the most extreme conditions. The last start winner, Antonio Cardoso, showed he was just as comfortable above lava rock as Sandy Beach. Dino Carmo and Amory Laverne started their heat with a split peak scenario, and it was Carmo who edged the exchange.
Oh my, that was insane. From Dino Carmo finding another pocket and going for a roll.
But Amory got the better of the backup scores and the crowd favourite ultimately progressed.
Oh, a big air forward.
Wow.
And he'll land it.
So that was huge, folks.
Diego Cabrera is another rider to have made the step up this year and now consistently challenges for event titles.
Oh, big backflip.
That's
bounces and turns that thing around.
Yep.
That was massive.
Even missing the newly crowned world champion, round 4 was still stacked with favourites. There would be no easy heats from here on for whoever takes the ultimate prize. Perfect conditions continued into the afternoon, and round 4, which ran 3-man heats where only the top 2 progressed. Jared Houston found one of the longest barrels seen in the event.
Not done.
Finds another pocket.
No,
and he comes out of that one.
Alex Urunga finished ahead of Houston, which ended Uri Valadao's campaign.
Gem. A cave there. Spit out. Stoked. He's not done, ladies and gentlemen. Unrolo. Wow.
Dudu Pedra easily won the second heat when he opened with a 10-point ride and backed it up.
I mean, look at this thing just lining up. Will he come out of this? And he comes out. He's not done yet. The inside is coming. And a big ARS. Dudu Pedra. He means business. We got more action. Dudu Pedra again on this bomb of a wave. Finds more rent, finds a barrel, and doesn't roll. But this time it does lands straight back to the bottom. But he'll pull that off.
Local junior Lionel Medina did his best to join him in the next round.
The young Canary Islander finds the barrel. And will he come out? He does come out. He's not done yet. Finding a little section on the inside. And a nice roll. Lionel Medina.
But Jacob Romero's experience saw him through.
It is Jacob Romero in yellow. Pulls into this pocket, finds the barrel, comes out with a roll. And yeah, and coming to the inside, and there it is. A nice ARS. So
Ryan Hardy nabbed a high 9 and a ticket to the quarterfinals in the opening minute of his round 4 heat, further justifying his already solid contribution as the APB wildcard.
Surfing in the comp last year at Fronton was pretty heavy for me because the waves are so big and epic on the last day, which I would have loved to have been competing in, but I was unfortunately eliminated against some tough competition in the earlier rounds when it was a bit smaller. So that's definitely made me hungry this year to go out there and get as far as I can in the competition, and especially to surf in the prime conditions, which it looks like it's going to be solid for the final day. Fronton's one of the best waves in the world for bodyboarding for sure. It's got so much power, really perfect wedge, ramps, big pits, one of the biggest, heaviest pits you can get for the size, and it's just a bodyboarder's dream wave really, if you've got the balls for it. Fronton sort of sets a new bar in performance for the tour really. Like this, you're kind of like Chopu, it really makes everyone rise to a level that they almost haven't been before in charging heavy waves. To get the big scores, you've got to be going the biggest, heaviest bombs and getting deep on them, and it's just really scary out there. And if you really want it, if you want to do well and get a good result out here, you've got to go as hard as humanly possible, basically, to be in there for a chance. You're against some of the biggest chargers in the world, and to have any sort of chance, you've got to go all out.
Hardy finished behind one of those chargers, Pierre-Louis Costes, who grew a set of wings.
He's going for a ramp. What's he going to do off this section? A huge invert.
oh my goodness.
Louis Finnegan was eliminated, but by no means embarrassed.
Here's Louis. Louis just pulled into a barrel and come out with another flip there.
So Alex Uranga would face Jacob Romero in the first heat, followed by Dudu Pedra against Jared Houston. Heat 3 saw Pierre-Louis Costes against Diego Cabrera, while the last heat featured Amory Laverne and Ryan Hardy. The final day was a touch smaller, but still clean, and the waves favoured the right-hander. The quarterfinals began the day, and it was Alex Uranga who made a fast start.
Alex loves his left. Nice flip in the ARS just to get his campaign started.
Before Jacob Romero got his opportunity.
Ginormous and a big invert, and he pulls it off.
Wow. Great job by Jacob. He's pulled it off. He's on the dry reef. That's dangerous, Manny, and he jumps off.
Wow. Up and riding, Jacob Romero. Look at this behind the section. He's going to come out of that. Yes, he does.
Score. Ton of speed.
Jam.
Jared Houston went 1-2 for the win.
The South African, look at that. Smooth bottom turn and a big backflip. He'll pull that around. Now look at this inside section shaping up. And yes, he has time for another maneuver.
Oh, bouncing down the face and...
Oh my!
The drop in size enabled top riders like Pierre-Louis Costes to work multiple air sections.
Oh my, and a clean air forward, making it look easy. Hit the brakes, finds another section to go for a roll. Wow.
Which he backed up with a combination on the left.
There he goes, Pierre on the left, finds the pocket, finds the barrel, and he does come out, and he comes out with a nice clean roll. Hair flinging everywhere. He has time for one more roll, but that one he won't complete.
Before he again displayed his full control on the right.
PLC one more time, a nice clean barrel, and he does come out with the froth. And look at this inside section. He's going to take advantage, go for a backflip, land on the whitewash.
Ryan Hardy and Amory Laverne split the peak for their first scores.
And here we go.
Split the peak. Camera's going to stay with Hardy, scooping into a bomb. Nice and deep. He wants something at the end.
Get out of there.
It maxes out into the channel.
Before Amory was able to do work on both the left and right to assume the lead.
Here's Moz taking off on another left.
Oh my goodness.
Scooping in deep. Nice long barrel. And popping out the end.
Right on this one. Crystal clear. Water. Nice, beautiful bottom turn. Scoops in under the pocket. Finds the exit. And look at this. A nice invert to finish off that wave.
Laverne then went above the lip.
Back live action. Amory Laverne line up this section. And an air forward for Amory Laverne himself.
Before Hardy replied with one of his own, but it wasn't enough.
Racing for the section. And what's he got? Another huge air forward. Maybe a bonus section at the end. Yep, there you go. Finishing it off with a nice roll.
This is how the two semis lined up, with Jared Houston and Jacob Romero in the first, followed by last year's finalists Pierre-Louis Costes and Amory Laverne. Jacob Romero started fast in semi-final number 1. He emerged from a long, draining right-hander that he punctuated with an air roll spin. But Jared's response moved him into the lead.
And nice airdrop, engaging the rail, man. He spit out. What's he going to do here? Bingo was his name-o. Lands this one. That's going to be a giant score.
It turned into computer game surfing as Romero then went orbital with a backflip.
But here we go, holding our breath right now. Jake Romero coming around the section and a big backflip right there.
Boom,
lands
Panani.
perfectly.
While Jared chased the barrel to regain the lead.
He is deep. He pulls into the barrel.
He
gets
out.
covered up. The spit is coming. And there he is, Jared Houston making it out of that deep pit.
Then Romero gave himself a chance to steal the win.
Yeah, Jerome wants to do an air reverse here. What's he going to do? There it is.
A look at.
But Houston posted an excellent score from a smaller inside wave to take the victory and the first place in the final.
Going on this one, he's going to get another beautiful score, spit out of the barrel. He's going to do another backflip, probably land this one, and he'll get it. He'll get a better situation, everyone.
In the next semi, Pierre opened with a strong combination.
He's going to probably do an air forward. He's looking, he's eyeing off. Oh, he gets a pit. He's going to come out with a roll. But no, yeah, there's his roll. A flip. Wow.
In the next semi, Pierre opened with a strong combination before Amory found a solid barrel, which he backed up with a lofty invert.
Look at this. He knows it's high tide. He's going to do a huge ramp. Look at him go for it. Air reverse or giant invert. That was huge. So he's
the crowd is erupting.
He then put Pierre into a combination position, meaning he needed 2 new scores.
Spit out Amory Laverne. He's just on fire, ladies and gentlemen.
And look at this, on the inside, Amory Laverne going for it, airs forward and pulls it off.
Costes had another shot, but it wasn't enough, meaning Amory Laverne would face Jared Houston in the final.
There he is, tucks into the barrel, and he does come out with a spit. Hits the brakes just a little bit. He tries to force that roll over.
This is the road travelled by both of the finalists. Houston was seeking to win his first Fronton King, whereas Amory Laverne was hoping to make it back-to-back titles. Before the main final, Costes beat Jacob Romero in the podium final to claim 3rd position.
Here's up. Here? Oh my gosh, he's getting shot.
Oh my.
Wow, nice beautiful barrel. He's coming out. And is he going to do a move? Probably. Backflip.
Fans packed into the grandstand and lined the cliffs as the final commenced. Amory Laverne made the first move.
Ooh,
wow. Right there, it is Amory Laverne tucking under the lip right there and goes for a reverse out the back. He will land back on that wave.
Houston answered back, but was behind for most of the heat.
Jared Houston up and running, gets into the barrel. He does come out with the spit, hits the brakes, and a big roll, lands perfectly, and that is what he needed.
The two riders took back-to-back waves as the minutes ticked down.
He's gonna scoop in. Will he get barreled? He does get barreled. He's gonna have to do a move out of this. He's gonna have to hit it pretty big, and he doesn't hit it. Oh man, and he leaves Jerry out the back. And look what Jerry's got, Manny.
Jerry up and riding behind the section, pulls under the pocket. Will he hit the section when he comes out? And there it is. Will he do it? This wave is racing away from him. And oh, wow.
Before Houston found a clean section and launched a flawless backflip.
He's coming around the section, and a big backflip, and he pulls it off. Yeah. That was incredible.
It moved him back into the lead, which he held for the remaining seconds. With that, Jared Houston was the 2017 Fronton King.
Feels pretty insane. It's you know, arriving here in Canary Islands this year, a lot of the guys were talking about what the most prestigious events to win are, and pretty much decided that it'd be between Piper, Rica, Tahiti, and Fronton. So it felt really good to get a win here at Fronton. Especially after that final in 2012, I came really close, got a second place, and that was pretty bittersweet. You know, I didn't compete here for 5 years, and yeah, this year to come back and win it and be able to say I won Fronton in pumping waves is amazing, and I'm just so pumped. Final with Mars was really difficult. You know, I got out there, and I'd had the benefit of having a break before the final, you know, just getting up on the rocks and chilling out a little bit, which was nice. And I got out there, and you know, it was really difficult to decide the kind of game plan I wanted to use against Amari. You know, is that he'd been ripping all event. You know, he was definitely the form surfer of the event, and I think that it worked to my favor that he came up against Pierre in the semi, because I really felt like he kind of used everything he had to get through that heat. So we both kind of arrived in the final pretty exhausted. There was a lot of current washing off the reef, very, very, very difficult conditions. So west in the final. So some really heavy ones. Both of us had heavy ones we didn't make it out of. So many waves caught, so much paddling. You know, it's really, really intense final. So you know, it's always great competing against Mars. You know, he's such a good competitor. He's such a humble guy. Such a you know, humble at the same time, very driven. You know, he's a very interesting dude to compete against, and couldn't have imagined a better way to win the event than beating the best guy at Fronton right now in the final. Was really the cherry on top for me.
This was how the APB leaderboard finished at the conclusion of the 2017 season. Congratulations to South Africa's Ian Campbell, who claimed his maiden world title. We hope you enjoyed the ride. See you next year.